Mr. Chairman, I hereby table the following documents before the committee: management management responses and accompanying annexures for the County Executive of Machakos for the financial year 2020-2021, 2022-2023, CRF 2021-2022, 2022-2023, ROR 2021, 2022, 2023. Please. Okay.
Now, Clerk of the Senate, you will let us know. We have quite a number of reports. So, starting with 2020-2021, you have Executive Report, Receive of Revenue, and County Revenue Fund. Did you receive the responses? Were they filed in time?
Yes, we did receive them on the 12th of September.
And that's within the timelines?
Yes.
What about 2022-2023?
We also received them.
Fine. Auditor General, for 2020-2021, did you receive the responses on time?
Thank you, Chair. The responses were received on time. However, there was a revised version of the responses, which was received yesterday, but we didn't have time to go through it. Thank you.
You received some responses yesterday?
Yes, the revised, which were talking to management later.
And those relate to the executive, ROR, or CRF?
For 2020-2021, for the three.
For the three.
Executive, ROR, and CRF.
You are getting responses as late as yesterday?
Yes.
2022-2023? For 2022-2023?
Chair, we had been guided that we are doing the audit for 2020-2021 and 2022-2023.
Yes, so I'm asking because I'm trying to segregate the years. Already there's a problem with 2020-2021. What about 2022-2023? Did you get the responses in time?
Yes, Chair, the responses are on time.
So you are prepared for 2022-2023?
Yes, Chair.
But for 2020-2021, you are citing that the responses came late?
Yes, we were not able to go through them.
Governor, what is the reason why responses would be coming yesterday? And remember that we had even rescheduled our earlier meeting to allow you time to provide proper documentation for 2020-2021.
Chair, the CC for Finance can answer that.
That one is yours as a CEO, Governor, not CC Finance. Governor, this one is yours as a CEO.
Okay, there was a change with the auditors, so they had to submit again to the new team.
The change happened last night because the responses came last night.
Yeah, they reviewed with the previous team.
We had reviewed with the previous team.
When?
Through the Governor Chair, there was a change of the director, audit, the regional director, and the team before we had reviewed. We had reviewed the 2020-2021. So yesterday we were catching up with the team just to check all is well, but the new team didn't seem to have them. But we had even submitted. Remember, we were to come here before. We are here on a scheduled date.
Those are stories. I'm concerned about the Auditor General getting responses yesterday.
The office had gotten. Remember, Chair, we are here on a rescheduled date, so we had already submitted.
When did you submit?
Before we rescheduled, we had already submitted. Even to
whatever you submitted yesterday, is it the exact copy of what you submitted?
Not exactly, Chair. There were a few amendments.
So what are we supposed to use? The
The
amendment,
one submitted yesterday, Chair.
The one submitted yesterday, Chair.
and the Auditor General naturally cannot be in a position to review and advise us if that's the one we are supposed to use.
The amendments were very minimal.
How do we tell?
We leave it to the House to the committee to determine, Chair.
You see, I think you must invite a reprimand from the committee.
Chair, we apologize for that.
You must invite a reprimand from the committee because we don't operate like that. And I say that with a lot of respect because two of the members sitting in front of me are former members of parliament. Even though Mwangangi, I'm told that the reason you didn't use honorable is because now you are His Excellency. So I demoted you by taking you back to honorable. So former members of parliament really should know better parliamentary procedure, timelines, and what that means, because the Parliamentary Budget Office goes through those things. It means that what the Auditor General has, the Clerk of the Senate does not have. Now, under those circumstances,
Chair,
Governor?
we submitted on 12 September 2024, and we have the evidence.
No, Governor,
Chair,
you are on oath. You have just said you submitted some things yesterday.
Just some amendments, but some little amendments. But we submitted on 24th. We submitted on the 12th September 2024. What we submitted was just some little amendments, but it was submitted on 12th September 2024.
Okay, Senator Matthew, let's make
I think
quick...
the position of whether the documents were submitted on 12th September is not contested. I think there's no contestation about the 12th. But I'm interested to know if the amendments were immaterial, if they are not significant, if they are negligible, why were they necessary? Because if they were immaterial, then they would have relied on the documents that they had already submitted on the 12th of September. Why did they submit new documents yesterday?
During audit. Governor?
Chair, it's for what we normally submit information to the auditors, and it's for them to determine whether the information...
No, Chair. I think the governor got me wrong. It is not for the auditor to determine because they have not looked at the new documents so that they can tell the materiality of the amendments that were made. They have not. They already looked at the documents that you submitted on the 12th, but they have not looked at the documents that you submitted yesterday. So materiality of the difference of what was submitted then, or the materiality of the amendment, can only be known by your own team because they're the ones that made the amendments.
Because we have, maybe before I give direction, Senator Madam.
Yeah, Chair, I wanted to say if that document that they submitted yesterday is not very important to them, then we can move forward with the document that they submitted on the 12th and we ignore the yesterday's document.
Maybe, Chair, before you go, OAG, are you comfortable for us to proceed with a document that you have not reviewed, number one? Because from the response of the governor is saying that they are comfortable with proceeding with the yesterday's document, which is amended version. The governor has said on record that the document that CCM had a meeting with you, they are comfortable to proceed with amended version of their documentation, including management response and annexures. So are you in a position for us to, did you go through that documentation, the amended version, and are you comfortable for us to proceed? Because you know you are our third eye. If you have not verified the authenticity of some of the responses.
Can I say something before can I say something before?
I'm still on record, Madam Governor. So can you get that assurance? Because normally, Chair, we normally rely on the OAG because they can verify some of the projects, the annexures and the responses in terms even of cross-checking. Maybe you can respond to that.
Okay, maybe before you respond, let's hear what the governor has to say so that you have the right to reply.
I think we can continue with the old one that we submitted.
Okay, Auditor General?
Chairman, before the director speaks, please allow me to say that ordinarily when the client responds, we usually create time and go through the responses with them. Machakos County Executive was only available yesterday after they submitted the documents to go through the records with the auditors. So not enough time was given to be able to go through the responses. And they came late in the day yesterday. Thank you, Chair.
Director?
Thank you, Chair. I want to confirm that we are not comfortable to discuss the report today because we haven't yet gone through the issues to confirm the final position. Thank you.
Okay. Governor, I wonder what has been keeping you busy. For the Senate, it is very obvious what has been keeping us busy in the last 1 or 2 weeks. I don't want to rely on social media on what has been keeping you busy. But you should provide time for the Auditor General. Your team must liaise with the Office of the Auditor General. You see, even if the Auditor General would have said they are able to proceed, already the submissions made yesterday are completely out of our timelines. Now, to avoid a protracted argument on this, because the Auditor General had already briefed us in the first 1 hour that we were in this room, we shall proceed as follows. For the financial year 2022-2023, we shall proceed because the Auditor General is ready. Is that a fact?
Yes, Chair.
For the financial year 2020-2021, we direct that your team and the Auditor General must find time to sit together to go through those responses. We are going to rely on the Auditor General to advise us. If the responses are adequate, the Auditor General shall advise us so that we can do our report. If there are gaps in your responses, then, Governor, you will have to appear before the Senate again for us to deal with those gaps. We have given you a window. If you do not utilize it, then prepare to come back here to deal with issues of 2020-2021. The issues of 2021-2022 we dealt with at our last meeting. And I think there were just a few residual issues in 2020-2021 that we didn't deal with. So please take this seriously. I know that you coming to Nairobi for this session is expensive and taxing. I've seen the size of delegation that you have come with. If your finance and technical team can sit with the Auditor General, go through those responses, and the Auditor General gives us an assurance, then we will take the assurance and the report of the Auditor General. And I think that must be done within the next 14 days. If in 14 days the Auditor General reports that the executive of Machakos has disappeared, then we shall issue summons for your appearance before the end of the month of November. Therefore, we can proceed with the report for 2022-2023, which I'm happy is a report of your first year in office. So I think that should be the direction we take. Senator Mudam?
Chair, I don't know if your ruling includes now the pending stalled projects in Machakos, that it can come together with.
Yes, we have an issue here on prior year matters.
Yes.
We have already listed the projects that have been cutting across the years, and we shall go through them in today's session.
Thank you.
Yeah, and I think Senator Kavindu Mudama, you had also mentioned something about a visit to Machakos. I'd like you to reiterate it so that it goes on record.
Yes, Chairman. I need this committee to visit the stalled projects in Machakos because there are some stalled projects that have been there for quite a while, from 2013 to date, and that is taxpayers' money lying there. So I need this committee to visit Machakos on the stalled projects issue.
I think as members of the committee, we concur with that request. Time and resources allowing, we will definitely plan to visit Machakos. We made that resolution at our last meeting, but resources and time have not allowed us to undertake the visit. But Senator, we commit to do so time and resources allowing. So for us to proceed, Governor?
Senate Chair, I want to assure you, my team will sit with the auditors immediately.
Thank you. We look forward to that because we want to look at your time in office rather than casting glances at the past, because even the citizens of Machakos are now more interested in finding out what the current governor is doing rather than what the former governor did. So, honorable members, we could proceed with the 2022-2023 report, but because our last meeting, there were, I think, 2 or 3 matters arising, it would be extremely important that, Clerk, you point out those matters arising and we find out from the governor whether they were closed or not before we get into this, because they have a bearing.
May I, Chair, if you allow me, make a preliminary observation?
Yes, Senator.
Very, very quickly. Now that I've seen that part of what we shall be looking at matters to do with the compensation of employees and the establishment of the county government of Machakos, I am struggling to understand why, even though the county secretary and head of public service is here, there's nobody from the county public service board from Machakos or even the director of HR or who would be the technical person who would be helping the governor deal with the many issues that we have here.
Governor?
If they are there, then we could just proceed.
I have the chief officer, public service here with me.
Preliminarily, Governor, I've noticed some of your part of your delegations are acting. Why are they acting? And you know, when you're acting, you don't have substantive powers to execute some of the responsibilities. How comfortable are we that we can proceed with? And some of the acting officers occupy very critical positions. Why are they acting?
We have placed adverts. I can assure you there are no structures. I'm just trying to put down proper structures in Machakos County.
2 years down the line?
It's a continuous process, Chair.
What do you mean it's a continuous? 2 years down the line? Do you have only 3 years to go?
I did HR audit,
yes.
And with the HR audit, I found these issues. I could not do anything without doing the HR audit. So after the audit, I found out these issues, and these are the issues I'm dealing with now.
And you provide that audit with the committee report?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, Chair.
Is it part of the matters arising, Clerk? The issue of the HR audit?
HR audit?
No, it's not.
It was not. It was the pending bills. Okay, but there's a substantive issue here. I think the issue of qualifications that you might tell us about that audit and the issue of fake qualifications that you found out. Okay. So we shall deal with it when we come to it. Senator Sifuna.
Chair, I wanted to know if the Deputy Governor has been assigned any specific docket. It is quite unusual. I'm not saying that he shouldn't be here, but in my time at this committee, I rarely ever see Deputy Governors. Does the Deputy Governor hold a substantive docket?
Chair, we have a good working relationship.
It's the Deputy Governor to respond.
Yeah, I think, Deputy Governor, today you can speak in Parliament after a 5-year absence.
And you know, Honorable Chair, just to buttress the point that is being made by Senator Sifuna, in fact, it should not be the governor to say whether the relationship is working or not. You know, at the national level, the President says that we have a very good working relationship, but the things that have followed are not in tandem from what has been said.
Okay, I think let's insulate ourselves from what is happening at the national level. Deputy Governor, briefly.
The answer is yes. And without going to the issues of what my boss has gone, is as a deputy CEO within the county, there is no way I will hold a docket and at the same time I assist the governor in overseeing the rest of the government departments. So it is only fair that I remain the way I am and I assist in ensuring each and every department is doing what is supposed to be done. And I'm comfortable doing that.
Senator Sifuna.
That is quite an interesting take, because there has been conversation in this country about assignment of specific dockets to the deputy governors. But I'm happy that in Machakos you are okay with the situation that it is. I am sure that your colleagues across the country might not hold necessarily the same views. But it's fine. I have my answer, Chair.
Chair, Honorable Chair, I'm on record saying the same. We appeared as a Deputy Governor's Forum before the Senate Committee on Devolution. And I said, if any county in this republic has an issue between the two leaders, they come to Machakos or invite my boss, and she will say, as I said here. And if you go back to record, I said the same when I appeared in the same committee. I'm very much okay and comfortable where I am, Chair. I can say that in our presence and in our absence.
Yeah, we shall not spend too much time on the issue of relationship, but for your information, your former colleague, both of you, Oyugi Magwanga, who was a member of parliament, I think you guys served together, is a deputy governor of Homa Bay County and is also the CC in charge of agriculture. So it is not unusual for a deputy governor to have a substantive position, but it's up to the governor. It's up to you to establish your county. I think that should not take us a lot of time. Senator Mudama, you want to say something on that?
Chair, what can I say? And you've heard it from the horse's mouth. He's okay with what he's doing, so long as they lead Machakos in the right direction.
Yeah, I think that was just a preliminary observation. It's not something that should take us a lot of time to discuss. It's just that political marriages in Kenya don't usually last very long. But those are extraneous issues. Clerk of the Senate, the matters arising from our last meeting.
Yes, Chair, there are a few matters that arose during our last meeting. The first issue was regarding the pending bills, where we asked the governor, directed the governor to provide a breakdown on the total pending bills inherited, what was verified, what was found to be questionable, and what needs further verification, as well as the pending bills movement register within 14 days. The second issue was on legal fees, where we directed the governor to give us a breakdown.
This was to be provided to the Auditor General
and the Senate.
And the Senate. Auditor General, did you receive that breakdown?
Chair, not yet.
Okay. Clerk, proceed. We shall get
The
comments.
second issue was on legal fees, where we directed the governor to give us a breakdown of what has been taxed, what has not been taxed, and also to provide contingent liability, to disclose contingent liability.
And what was the time frame?
2 weeks, within 2 weeks.
Was that provided?
Not to us.
OAG?
Not yet.
What was the third matter?
The third issue was directed to EACC. It was regarding irregular expenditure on the design of the proposed Machakos Airport.
EACC?
Yes, Chair. There was an issue that was assigned to us to follow up. The commission is, I have checked it, and it's not one of our matters that is active, but we can follow it up from this meeting.
I think we made clear directions that that matter to be investigated by the EACC, so it should not fall between the cracks. We must send the right message to Kenyans. We sometimes get the impression that when we ask the EACC to move on matters that might touch on persons who are in high and mighty offices, action is not taken. And I think we have seen that in Machakos, we have seen that in Turkana. We must not send any message to Kenyans that they are sacred cows when it comes to investigations of the EACC. We are not accusing anyone of guilt. Everyone is innocent until proven guilty. But from our last conversation, the issue of the design on Machakos Airport it came out clearly that it was a matter that the Senate could not clear, and it was a matter that the governor could not explain. And so we referred it to the entity that has got the technical and legal capacity to carry out investigations. So I don't want us to speak too much about it, because you have already addressed it in our brief. Please make sure that that matter features in your list of issues that require investigation, so that we can tell the people of Machakos the truth about that particular expenditure. Now, any other matter rising, or that was the last one?
The others were regarding the projects that was told.
Regarding the projects, and some of those we'll be going through. So, Governor, quickly on pending bills, you are supposed to provide information, because we are told that your pending bills have been growing. I think you must have closed the year at about 4.6 billion. And that is the reason why we were concerned about the movements, and we said that we needed proper details presented to the Office of the Auditor General. What has happened so far?
Chair, through the governor, the issue of the pending bills, there is an implementation committee which is at the tail end of giving the refined report. On the legal, there's a legal audit going on. There, and I know we have the solicitor, our county solicitor here. There are some that are being taxed, others are ongoing.
See, you are supposed to provide that information to the Auditor General. Yeah, that, because that was the ruling.
My county attorney is here, maybe you should answer that.
What is he answering? Does he take the position that he sent the information to the Auditor General? First of all, the pending bills globally, there was the issue of movements, aging, etc. Did you provide the information to the Auditor General as required?
Chair, through the governor, I'm meant to understand that we never provided to the Auditor General, but
did you provide the information on legal claims?
Legal claims is ongoing. We haven't gotten the final report that we can present, because they had to do a legal audit, which is ongoing, Chair. We don't have a document.
Nobody dramatized that matter more than you did. I even recall Senator Sifuna giving you free advice on how to deal with legal, and I thought that it was a critical, urgent risk, financial risk to your county, and would have expected that you would have provided the Auditor General with that schedule, so that we are advised, so that we engage the EACC or any other body or LSK to give you relief on that matter. I'm surprised that nothing has moved since your last appearance.
It's ongoing, and we have also been asked for a lot of information by the ESCC, and we have been able to provide them with the information that they wanted.
Senator Sifuna?
I'm not very clear, Governor. Who's doing the legal audit?
Can I say?
Who's doing the audit?
We had a task force that came up. Let me answer that myself. We had a task force that came up with a report. We came here, and the task force report, part of it was to say that we should try and negotiate with them and go on taxation on the bills that were extreme. The bills that were okay. Yeah? So with those ones, we said we go for taxation. And my solicitor and county attorney is here. I formed a small committee that was supposed to start working now with the solicitors on taxations. The ones that were okay, that did not have a problem, we already started paying them.
Clerk, Chair, maybe the clerk can remind us, when was the date of the meeting we had with this entity?
It was on 12th October last year.
Yeah, so that is a year, Governor. Where would you put the percentage of resolution or progress?
Maybe at what percent?
That is why it is important to have documents in front of you.
At what percentage? 13%. 30%, sorry.
30% means what? Because in this report, 737 million of your pending bills relate to legal fees. So when you say 13%, is it 13% payment or verification?
Verification we have done.
So it's 30% of
And
payment.
some of those legal cases, Chair, some of those legal fee cases are with ESCC. So it's becoming very difficult for me to even, how do I start negotiating with people with cases that are?
Governor, your legal person is standing. Perhaps let us engage with her just a minute to shed some light on exactly where we are.
Allow me to shed some light on and explain to what Her Excellency is saying. We had a legal implementation committee after the pending bills task force. Of the 700 million bills that were given to us from the previous regime, only 64 million of those bills were marked as legible. The others were sent to us for taxation or negotiation. After that process, we had EACC come to our desk, and they said that most of those bills are under investigation. We had our files from 2022-2023 possessed by EACC for investigation. Those ones we handed over. And after that, they have come for almost all our bills from 2013 to date, which we have handed over. All the payment vouchers for all those bills paid. So we have EACC currently investigating all the bills that have been paid by Machakos County. As we continue, we still have those that are undergoing taxation, and those that have been approved by the county are being paid. We are at what the Department of Finance is saying, those that are marked as legible and not questioned are being paid under the pending bills budget. So that is what is going on. So in terms of legal fees, there are a lot of questions. It is not a straightforward answer.
Before you go to the labyrinth.
Yes.
64 million was marked as legible.
Yes.
Eligible.
So
legible.
Legible is not the same as eligible.
Eligible are those ones that from the 700 million, they said only 64 million we feel should be paid. The others we feel are exaggerated, or you should go back and talk to the advocates.
Legible, eligible, it's English.
Oh, sorry.
I think it ought to be
eligible.
It ought to be eligible because
Yes.
legible is readable.
Correct.
Yes.
Yeah, eligible is clean,
Eligible.
fit for consideration.
Yes.
Yeah.
So you are saying only 30% has been paid.
Yes.
30% of the 64 million.
And those 30% have been verified by ourselves, by the pending bills committee, and by EACC. There is no question about those bills. There are those that were already paid, and they are under question by EACC. They are under question by even the pending bills committee, and they were already paid. And those files have been possessed by EACC.
So, Madam Solicitor, the question then to you is,
Yes.
Where is this information? Is it just in your head, or is there a document that we can refer to?
There is a report that we are waiting from EACC. They've said they're going to conclude their report.
Just a minute.
Yes.
This information you are giving us, the chair asked if there was a report that was sent to the Auditor General, and that report would essentially include the details you have given this committee. If you were to drop dead today,
God forbid.
God forbid, and I'm not praying for that,
Chair,
who would be the one to tell us?
Sorry.
Let's allow Senator Asifuna.
Yes, I have a report that I have submitted to the Department of Finance, not yet clearly submitted to the Auditor General, that is updated of where we have reached in terms of legal fees and in terms of court awards, those taxed and not yet taxed.
So the weak link here is the Department of Finance. You have done your job. Just say yes. They will not do anything. They will do you nothing.
But it is an ongoing process. You see, for court matters and taxation and all that, it needs a constant update. So I cannot blame them for where we have reached. Yes, I was.
Did you listen carefully to the directions and the governor committing that in 14 days that information will be shared with the Auditor General?
Yes, I did.
And so, if it was not shared, isn't that impunity?
We are continuing with the advice that you gave us, but you see, at the end of the day, if all these bills, some of them are under investigation, even if we give a report that is still under review, how will we be helping all those institutions? So we have to work with everybody.
Solicitor, it is not for you to decide what is useful to the Senate.
You are making it worse because it is possible for you to present periodic reports. Just the update you have given is important for us to have. It is important for the Office of the Auditor General to have. Are you saying that in your entire tenure, you are only prepared to do one report?
No, we are doing several reports.
Yeah, so when you do a report, you forward it. You allow us to be able to see the progress. That is how we know that things are moving.
Well-guided members.
Chair, even if it's not, even if it's not a full report, they can even update one through a letter or an email.
So what we'll do, because there's a substantive matter in this report under pending bills, and the second paragraph deals with legal fees, and that's where the 737 million is contained. So we shall deal with it when we get to it, so that we see the quality of response and the supporting documents that the county has filed. So let's deal with that when we get to that issue under emphasis of matter on pending bills. Clerk, were those the issues, matters arising?
Yes, Chair.
Okay, so globally on pending bills, I think there's another parallel exercise that is ongoing with the Finance Committee of the Senate. You will be having conversations with that committee because there was a resolution of the Senate on how to deal with pending bills, and it's a matter that we have generally allowed the Finance Committee to prosecute. But this committee is very, very keen on issues of legal fees because at our last meeting, it came up as a serious financial risk. And before I forget, the contingent liabilities register, was that provided to the Auditor General?
Chair, through the Governor, the contingent liabilities includes the court awards, which the team hasn't finalized. So what we have,
contingent liabilities exclude awards. Contingent liabilities is litigation in progress.
Chair, I understand you, but it is ongoing. We've not been able to finalize, so we didn't want to present a report which doesn't give a full picture. What we have is
I think that I do not agree with. I do not.
Chair.
Governor, just wait. And we made that comment because it was for your own good as a CEO. What some crooked people are doing with county governments is that cases are being filed against county governments. County governments are putting in very weak defense. Awards are issued. And then you've got orders enforced against the county government, which then expose you to great financial loss. The county attorney and the legal department must at all times present to the CEO and to the Auditor General a list of litigation in progress with the likely financial impact. Now, when we made that direction, it was because Machakos was not in the habit of disclosing the contingent liabilities. 700 million are actual claims. Those are not contingent liabilities. Those are actual claims against the county government. Do you know the full impact of the other cases that are ongoing, Governor? Do you have that visibility of the other cases that are ongoing?
Yes, yes, Chair, we have.
How many are they?
They are over. How many cases?
The last page.
Kasanga, can you give it to me quietly?
Kasanga is summarized. Is ongoing.
I thought someone introduced himself as county attorney in the delegation. Is a county attorney here? Governor, is a county attorney present?
Yes, he is.
Where is a county attorney?
There.
County attorney. The County Attorneys Act, an act of parliament which was passed through the vote of a number of us, gives you certain responsibilities with respect to legal issues within the county. I do not know why you are not helping us to get information how many cases do you have as litigation in progress, and what is the quantum? That is what a contingent liability report should have.
And Chair, maybe just to buttress your question to the county attorney through the governor, is how many cases are active, both that are in court, tribunals, or are in arbitration state, and how many has been resolved? Thank you, Chair.
Chair, through the governor, one, I'll start by the 700 million.
No, we have left 700. We are now on the contingent liabilities.
Yes, Chair, there was something small that I wanted to say for the benefit of the committee.
Proceed.
Chair, thank you. Those are not pending bills. Those were legal fee invoices issued by the lawyers that were acting for the county. Chair, since last time we were here...
Were they settled?
No.
They were outstanding?
They just issued legal fee notes, and we have objected to them. We have told them they either discuss with us or we have them taxed. So we can't say the 700 million is owing to them, because they are subject to either taxation...
That is why, at the last meeting, we said, present to us the schedule of taxed invoices. That is what the clerk read out.
All right.
And that is what you failed to provide. Because we understood that at the last meeting, that the 700 is not fully taxed. So we said, give us a schedule of those invoices that have been taxed and those that have been untaxed. And you have not provided that to the Auditor General.
Chair, through the governor, this is something that we can do in the next 3 days, because we already have...
Our last meeting was 12th October 2023, 1 year back. I think there's an issue of contempt of parliament that I am seeing becoming a habit in Machakos. Governor, as a former member of parliament, you should never be in a position where you're accused of contempt of parliament.
Chair, I do not want to wash dirty linen in public, but I just want to tell you that we have 87 cases in court.
87 cases, and in terms of quantification of the liability?
932,596,117.17.
932 million.
932,596,117.17.
So that is in addition to the 734 million invoices, and I agree with the county attorney's interpretation. I agree with you, because it is those that are taxed that then become payable, and the untaxed ones should still go through a certain process. But the potential exposure to legal claims is about 1.6 billion to Machakos. 1.6. The 932 plus the 734.
Some of the bills are here.
No, they wouldn't be there if they've already been invoiced. There'll be no double counting.
Chair.
Just a minute. Senator Nyonka, please go on record.
Thank you. My name is Senator Nyonka, Senator of Kisii County, and a member of this committee. I want to go back to the attorney. I don't know where you're sitting.
I think because we have an interest in you, you might want to...
Would you please move? Yes.
Thank you, Chair.
And I heard you say something that has kind of thrown me aback. You said that these are invoices and they're not pending bills.
They are pending bills.
What are you saying? Because even if they are taxed, even if they have not been taxed, and they pending bills and liabilities which are directly being held by the county government of Machakos.
Chair, through the governor, as will be seen in some of the responses, we normally tax the bills upon the conclusion of a matter. Now, if we are not in agreement with the invoice that an advocate has sent, then we take the matter to court for taxation. For the benefit of the committee, there was a particular advocate who who had sent invoices totaling to close to 700 million. Honorable Chair and members, we went to court and we reduced that to over 50 million only, saving the county over 600 million.
Attorney, could I, through you, Chair, can you mention who that attorney was? Because according to me, that's fraud. Can you name him? Yeah, you are protected by this house.
You are responsible for accuracy
of information.
Thank you, Chair. That was Bia Mungat and Company Advocates.
Thank you. So my suggestion to you is that the amount of money that these fellas were claiming is actually a pending bill, which then you sorted out.
Yes, Chair.
Thank you.
That name came up last time. I recall the same firm came up. And that's why we were clear that a schedule of invoices that have been taxed and those that are untaxed. Because if there was one which was worth 700 million, just one out of 737, that schedule could have had perhaps only one or two invoices. That's the visibility that we wanted. Now, we shall give directions again. The attorney says it's information that can take 3 days.
Chair, can I say something?
Governor?
And he should be having that information. Amount due to the law firms and not taxed is 814,221,784.74. And this is from the previous government. Okay, from previous government. These are not my legal fees. I want to make that very clear.
The taxed invoices?
The tax government is called.
Senator Chirante?
Governor, I thought government exists in perpetuity. The fact that you are not governor and then the government exists in perpetuity. What do you mean? And if there is any issue, there is Article 2296 where individual capability can be picked.
Governor, proceed, but proceed carefully and lawfully.
Yes.
Much obliged.
Okay, proceed. How much of that is
county government Machakos court awards and taxed advocates bills are 932,596 117.17. So I've given you a chair.
Governor, that is the information that we are directed you provide to us 1 year ago, so that we also help you in exposing some of these things. You don't have to keep saying the previous governor or whatever.
Can I be allowed to table this?
Once we have that information, then we as a public institution, which looks out for the interests of counties and their governments, we can expose some of the shenanigans that are happening in county governments through legal fees. Now, so you've got the register of taxed and untaxed invoices.
Yes, Chair, I have them in this document.
Fine, I'll direct that you table it. The clerk shall receive it. The Auditor General shall also review it. It is what ought to have come to us 1 year ago. Okay, clerk, you'll review it, and also the Auditor General, so that we can make certain recommendations on that matter. EACC, you can confirm that there is an active investigation on legal fees?
Yes, Chair, there's an active investigation. So the Commission received complaints of legal fees amounting to 175,768,000 that had been paid to consultants for services that were unclear and also that were not approved. So this matter is indeed under investigation, Chair, I can confirm.
Okay, I think when we have our meeting with the EACC, you will update us on how far the matters have gone. Now, having considered the matters arising, which have a bearing on today's proceedings,
there is also a further investigation undergoing with the EACC on the Office of the County Attorney.
On the Office of the County Attorney?
Yes, please.
Current or former?
Current.
County Attorney? You are in office while you are under active investigation?
Chair, through my governor, I am not aware of the investigations. Because I have not been notified, I'm being honest.
Governor, are you, because remember you are under oath, are you giving notice while in the Senate and under oath?
Chair, it is ongoing.
ESCC, I think I will rely on you more. Patricia, you need to find out.
Chair, from the records that I have, from the Commission, the matters under investigation are specifically regarding legal fees, not necessarily the office of the County Attorney.
Governor, does that
Or the person of the
does that denote question mark on the credibility and operations of that office, in your view?
We have had some issues about our cases in court and losing cases that we should not be losing as a county, and losing properties to other people. And when ESCC comes on board, when we are supposed to provide the information, we do not provide the correct information.
As a CEO, you are empowered to take administrative action where you feel the actions of your staff are not in line with the ethics and integrity and various laws binding employees. Have you taken any administrative action?
I have to follow the due process.
Yes, I'm saying lawfully, but nothing, there's no law that stops you from taking administrative action on any member of your staff. That is why you are described as a CEO in the Constitution. Have you taken administrative action? Because in the absence of administrative action, you might run the risk of destroying careers. Governor? Because the right route for you is to take administrative action. The right route for Senate is to ask ESCC to come in. What action have you taken that is in line with the Constitution and various laws? Have you made a report? Have you written a show cause letter?
The County Secretary can answer on that one.
Chair, I want to join you into... even before that, Chair, my name is Senator Mwenda Gataya. I'm Senator for Tharaka-Nithi, I'm a member of this committee. You know, Chair, it's a bit shocking when you capture some confessions from the governor, who is supposed to get some legal advice and anything related to county legal matters from the Attorney General, meaning from the county attorney, who are reading from very different scripts. The governor says the Attorney General says it's under ESC investigations. The attorney doesn't even seem to know. Then it is clear there is a very strong beef between the two offices. And one would even want to know how does the governor navigate, because I'm sure that the county attorney is the source of the advice on legal matters. How do you relate with your staff who doesn't even read from the same script from you?
Before you respond, Senator Charake.
Maybe it seems I was the architect of the County Governments Act that is in place. County Attorney, sorry, the County Attorney Act that is in place. In the last session, we gave the County Attorney the status of a County Executive Member. So he's part of the cabinet of the county. So from you, Governor, when did the County Attorney, when was he hired? As in, when did he come to the office? And as rightfully put by the chair, since you are the county executive and county attorney is a status of CCM, and that is why even we gave all the privileges and salaries to be equal to the CCM finance and other CCM. What action have you taken if you feel that is there administrative action, is there show cause, is there any other that has pointed out to action being taken against the county attorney? Because we don't want to make political statements at the convenience of destroying careers. We must be factual that if the county attorney has disobeyed the directions of the county executive cabinet, which you chair, then appropriate action must be taken, not limited but to administrative action. So, Governor, can you give us the tangible reasoning as to what happens and how long has been the county attorney been in office?
Thank you. Senator Mudama?
Yes, Chair.
Senator Mudama first. Yeah.
Thank you, Chair. Through you, Chair, and through the Governor, I just want to know how the Governor is aware of the investigations going on about the county attorney, and the county attorney does not know. Why hasn't she informed him or taken any action on him? Because once one is in investigation, should they be holding an office really while still under investigation?
Okay, Senator Mtata, go on record. You.
Honorable Chair, honorable members of the Senate, Your Excellency, Governor of Machakos and your delegation, my name is Okiwa Mtata Koiti, Governor, Senator from Busia, and Governor, you're most welcome. Thank you.
County Secretary.
Through the Governor. Chair, I wish to submit to this committee that the EACC has been occasionally informed us that one of the reasons as to why the legal bills were that high was because of poor representation for the government during cases in
Hold on,
court.
County Secretary.
Let us be precise with an eye of military marksman. We are aware that matter is unveiled. What we are asking is the administrative action that has been taken against, just untable the letter so that we make progress. We have plenary at 2:30.
Yeah, proceed, CS.
Thank you. Yes, previously the Attorney General County Attorney is here, and he can confirm that he has received one letter previously requiring him to explain the wanting performance of his office, and he has had a sitting during which he has been required to explain.
What was the approximate date of that notice?
That was at around the month of May this year, Chair.
Just hold on, Senator Mtata. Are you okay? We are not going to get involved in internal disciplinary matters in Machakos County. This Senate is obviously unimpressed with affairs in the legal department of Machakos. We discussed it last time. We gave directions for information to be provided within 14 days. That information was not provided, only for it to surface at this meeting. The huge amounts of invoices, the huge amounts under contingent liabilities indicate a dysfunctioning legal department or a dysfunction in the legal affairs of Machakos County. When we sum up your potential total exposure, it is equal to what you collect in a year. We have your receipt of revenue report here. You are collecting 1.4 billion. Your potential exposure is almost 1.6 billion. The people of Machakos cannot be paying permits and paying cess and paying licenses for it to go to lawyers. But Governor, as a Chief Executive Officer, it is your responsibility to take administrative action on officers whom you feel are not pulling along. Senate can make recommendations, but it is only you who can take that action. I want to give guidance that if there are issues that are administrative, go back, crack the whip as a CEO. Crack the whip as a CEO, make sure that there's order and efficiency in the legal department. But it needs to be done lawfully, it needs to be done properly, and it needs to be done in a manner that bestows dignity to other persons who are not culpable or who are not guilty of the allegations that are being made. We shall ask the EACC to find out the exact details, but I think it has been held, and Senator Mtata, you will advise, Justice Ngugi's ruling about persons who are under active investigation that should not be in office. Has that ruling been challenged subsequently? Senator Mtata?
It is still good law.
It's still good law that once you are under active investigation, you should step aside to facilitate investigation. As things stand, there is no evidence before us.
In fact, the position was that the law used to say once you're under investigation, you step out of office, except if there's a provision in the Constitution for your removal. That's what Ngugi overwrote in the law, so that law applies to everybody. So in this particular case, I don't think there's any procedure that would require an application of Ngugi's ruling, because it's an automatic position already in law that if you are under active investigation for criminal for abuse of office or any crime, then you vacate office to allow law enforcement to have a free hand and a free access to witnesses.
So, Governor, we will not teach you how to be a CEO. We'll allow you to take action because the people of Machakos elected you to align systems. But let's also avoid a situation where we will be making allegations that then are not founded. So I think with that, we will get out of the HR issues in legal, but maintain the position that we are very unimpressed with the affairs in that department. Governor.
And Senate Chair, I can tell you, with all that has been happening, I already gave directives because we had a meeting also with the judiciary. We have so many cases there. We had a meeting with them, and they aired. We were told what our issues were, and with that, I can assure you, I've decided to take a legal audit of all the cases so that we can know where we are and where we are going as a county.
Governor, remember, time is running out.
I hear you.
But also remember that interest is building up, especially where there are court orders, which you are still subjecting to all these other processes. Talk to your friend, Governor for Meru, Governor Kawira. The county cancelled a lease on a hotel. The leaseholder went to court and was awarded 100 million. The county refused to pay. To date, it has grown to 700 million. She does not know where she's going to get the money from. A similar case is in Kisumu, where every day, I think it's a Pundo case, every year the amount of interest they're paying is equivalent to almost half of what they're collecting as on-source revenue. So you cannot afford inaction. You cannot, this is one of your biggest risks. Please crack the whip, but do it lawfully.
I think for her benefit, I may also just explain that I'm just from litigating that matter. There was a contract construction of Laikipia Air Base some time back. Clear contracts, products delivered, then dilly-dallying in the ministry. Now the debt is at about 2 billion shillings. And I'm prosecuting the officers responsible and them to pay that money. Because I have no reason why they did not pay. And sometimes there's collusion between contractors and executives. Once I've enjoyed that kind of finding, then they collude to inflate that debt by simply not paying and allowing the heavy interest to run. So that's something I'm litigating for the court to make a proper finding on. And if we can apply Article 226 Clause 5 to that.
Governor, should we donate Omtata to Machakos to follow up similar matters?
He's welcome.
Yeah.
Let him come for a cup of tea.
No. Cup of tea is a word for compromise in Kenya.
No. For Machakos is not compromise.
Mtata cannot be compromised.
No, it's not compromise.
I think that conversation was not idle, because that question is in this audit report at 737 million. So now let's go back to the other accounting issues. We will be...
Just before you leave the legal, I came in late, I don't know, maybe I've covered it. These heavy bills, are they consents or are they taxed?
Actually, the governor reports that what's taxed is 932,000 and tax is 814 million.
Untaxed? Then there could be collusion between the advocates and whatever. And maybe the best thing the county could do is to demand taxation. Because who had the capacity to go and bind the county in that? Remember the case I gave you about my county, where a taxing officer, a lady magistrate, called me and said, can you for heaven's sake take some action, because I'm seeing cases here that have filed a case where I would have taxed 200,000, but they're getting 20 million. They've gone and agreed 20 million, 30 million. Can you do something and get that stopped? So if a magistrate can get to a point of being pricked, so we need to be able to be sure that these bills that are coming are taxed. And if there's any consent, it must be a consent that is very, very reasonable. Otherwise, taxation would protect counties. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. I think you have reinforced part of what we've been discussing, and I think the governor now has clear guidance on what she should do. Auditor General, let's go back to the report and deal with the issues that are still untouched. Your opinion on 2022-2023, what was it?
Chair, the report of the Auditor General on the County Executive of Machakos for the year ended 30th June 2023. The report was a qualified opinion.
We'll quickly go through the qualified opinion. The first basis.
The first basis for qualification, number one, Chair, accuracy of comparative balances. The statement of cash flows reflect comparative decrease in cash and cash equivalents of Kenya shilling 659,695,806, while the audited financial statements reflect an increase of Kenya shillings 356,120,327, resulting to unreconciled and unexplained difference of Kenya shillings 1,015,816,133.
In the circumstances?
In the circumstances, the accuracy of comparative decrease in cash and the cash equivalent balance of Kenya shilling 659,695,806 could not be confirmed.
Okay, now we have the governor's written response there. Even before she goes through it, you have gone through it. Does it address the query or there are still gaps?
Chair, the reconciliation is addressing the query. The only challenge that was remaining is the explanation, because the issue was to deal with those balances in the SPA account and the deposit account, which are not swept back to CRF. However, in the reconciliation, there was still also balances, although smaller in value, from both recurrent and development. That is where now the issue of reconciliation was not fully resolved.
So following this explanation, would you still maintain that audit observation, following the explanation that has been offered?
The explanation given by the county, that's what you have said, the issue is partially addressed. It is addressing the balances in two accounts, the SPA in total, and also the retention. But also there are balances which are from recurrent and development, which are supposed to have been swept back by 30th June of each year.
And in terms of materiality, what amounts are involved?
Okay. For the ones that has remained unresolved, the balances both in the recurrent and the development, the materiality is on the lower side, but on cash, as we approach the audit, every figure is actually material, but they are smaller. They were small.
Is this indicative of loss of public funds, or this is an accounting problem?
Share, this is an accounting issue.
So if it's an accounting issue, the reconciliations can be done, even in the adjustments can be done even in the current financials?
Share, that is the way forward, whereby there can be prior year adjustment.
So we direct that the adjustments be done accordingly as per the guidance of the Auditor General. The second issue?
The second issue, Chair, variances between financial statements and IFMIS balances. The financial statements reflect balances that were at variance with the Integrated Financial Management Information System, IFMIS, balances in the following three expenditure items. So the first expenditure item, Chair, uses of goods and services. The figure that appeared in the financial statement was 1,400,609,381. But the IFMIS balance is Kenya shillings 737,356,541, leading to a variance of 663,252,840. The second expenditure item is the transfers to other government entities. In the financial statement, the figure reads 1,851,025,447. The IFMIS balance is 140,471,256. 170,471,256, leading to a variance of 1,680,554,191. The third expenditure item is acquisition of assets, where the financial statement figure was 1,387,309,122, while the IFMIS balance was 1,669,211,333, leading to a variance of negative 281,902,211. In the circumstances, the accuracy and the completeness of the amount to the three expenditure for the three expenditure items in the financial statements could not be confirmed.
Governor?
The county government, with the guidance of the National Treasury, has progressively reduced the variance between the financial statement and the IFMIS data. A joint exercise between the Machakos County Executive and the County Treasury and the National Treasury conducted during the financial year reduced the number of unreconciled expenditure items from 15 in financial year 2021-2022 to 3 in 2022-2023. The remaining item, use of goods and services, transfers to other government entities, and acquisitions of assets are actively being addressed to completely match the true assets of the financial statement. We provide the extract of the financial year 2021-2022 audit report on variance between the financial statement and IFMIS balance to indicate the progress that we have managed to achieve in Appendix 2.
This I don't even have to refer to the Auditor General. Your response does not deal with the question. You cannot say that because you are better off than last year, the mistake of this year should be normalized. What we must see is a reconciliation of use of goods and services between financial statement and IFMIS, that variance of 663 million. That is what you need to be presenting. Not showing that last year was worse, so this year should be okay, even if it's bad.
Okay.
Have you demonstrated the reconciliations?
Yes, I would like my CC Finance to answer that.
So, Chair, through the governor, when the governor can allow me to just through 1 minute, I give the gravity of that matter. So
no, don't take us on a historical journey. Just tell me why under financial statements you have 1.4 billion under use of goods and services, and in IFMIS you have only 737 million. IFMIS is supposed to be the single source of truth for county government transactions, so that if your financial hard copies and records were to be burnt down, God forbid, we can go to IFMIS and use it as the granary of data. So why do you have 1.4 billion in your financial statements and only 700 million in IFMIS? The man on the street might assume that the 663 million is fake expenditure.
So, Chair, through the governor, the question cannot be answered without having a sneak preview of the story. When the governor took over, the situation was bad. And we reached out...
Vacate that line of argument.
I'm vacating, I am obliged. But I'm saying from...
Chair, through you, Chair. We are 2 years down the line.
Correct.
So they should not be talking now about the previous government. They should be talking about the current government now.
I think you read the Bible, you know what happened to the wife of Lot when she kept looking back.
Chair?
Maybe a further question, because Governor, you know, I don't want your CCM to mislead us. What I'm saying, even Governor, your Appendix 2 has just shown that there was a problem in the previous financial year. But this year, you know, we after taking Panadol, we are much more better. The question is, where is even evidence to the National Treasury to try and clear, because it is not attached? Where is it in CCM? Don't display your incompetence here. Because even in the management response, you didn't indicate that there is another next year to show a letter to National Treasury. We are not your kids. You don't table documents after the fact. The governor and deputy governor are former members of parliament. Why didn't you attach here in the management response? It's only the only appendix that the governor has provided is Appendix 2. Why are you hiding some documents there? Are you intending to mislead this committee?
So that is why the chair is giving you an opportunity to explain.
Yes.
Do not take us on a historical journey.
So, and don't be sneaking documents that are not part of the response and annexures. Please.
Proceed.
So, Chair, through the governor, under Appendix 2B, we've attached...
Appendix 2B is not referred to in your written responses.
Appendix 2B.
And Appendix 2B does not exist in the whatever is before us.
Chair, I think the CCM thing might at some point go under oath. Because if we continue misleading the committee, even on record by saying there is Annex 2B, yet it does not exist.
Annex 2B does not exist.
So, Chair,
it has not been referred to.
Chair, apologies, please. Apologies, Chair. But on 11th of April, 2023, we wrote to the National Treasury because the problem could not be resolved without the IFMIS. Director of IFMIS. We wrote to him on 11th April 2023. He responded to us on 17th May 2023. And that's why we've been progressively and aggressively reduced those items from 17 to 3. The 3 that are remaining, they are active engagement between the county and the National Treasury. And we are very optimistic because we had given ourselves a timeline of next month. We are very optimistic. The next time we are coming here, we will not have that this issue is recurring.
Now, Auditor General, just to be clear, I hope it's not an issue of misclassification. If you look at the variances, do they add up? Well, do they net off?
Okay, Chair. The variances are actually not out of misclassification. It is just the scenario where some expenditures may not have been captured in the IFMIS, but has actually been incurred, and that's where the issue of reconciliation comes in, where they have to get the IFMIS access after, and they are able now to capture whatever they may not have captured in the IFMIS, but has actually occurred.
Who has the job of doing reconciliations in IFMIS within your organization?
Chair, the direct technical officer head of accounting services.
So what do they do morning to evening, every other day, if these things are not reconciled?
Chair, as I've stated, there is a team from the National Treasury who has been sitting with them. Actually,
are they incompetent, your officers?
No, it is extract. There are some extracts that at times that are missing from the IFMIS. So we have to rely on the technical team from IFMIS to help us. There's even a letter from...
Order. National Treasury. Is this something within your knowledge?
Chair, I do not agree with that, because when you capture something and you pay through IFMIS, it should have come out as IFMIS.
So unless if they are making payments out of IFMIS, then there is a problem.
Governor, I think in your background you have a systems background. Why can't systems work in your county? Unless it's deliberate.
Chair, maybe as Governor answers with your indulgence, I thought I heard the head of accounting services is acting. Is the head of accounting services in office substantively? Where is the head of accounting services? Are you acting or you are substantively in office?
Chair, and through the governor, in acting capacity.
You are in. Can you speak with
for how long?
It's lunch hour. Can
How
you
long?
speak with
For
the
how long have you
public?
been in acting?
You are not on record.
Please turn on the mic.
Through the chair.
Chair, through Your Excellency, I'm on acting capacity for the last 9
year.
months. Yes.
9 months.
Yes.
Are you Mr. Daniel Mutula?
I'm Mr. Daniel Mutula.
You signed these ones as head of accounting services. So were you once the substantive head?
No, acting, not substantive.
Nothing here shows that you are acting. Daniel Mutula, ISPAC number?
It's 18377.
You have signed as head of accounting unit alongside Collins Adipo, Chief Officer Finance. Is Collins here? Governor, is Collins?
Collins moved from finance to trade, is in trade, and I have the chief officer here. Asanga is here as the chief officer.
Why is this guy who performs such a critical role in acting capacity? This is such an important role because it has an impact on these reports, which you come to defend.
Chair,
as a
as you
governor.
know, yeah, as a county, we're having some financial difficulties, and once you advertise, you have to be in a position to be able to pay that person the required salary. So we are looking at our accounts, and once we are okay, we are going to do
So what is current substantive role? What is Daniel Mutula's current substantive role?
My substantive role is Assistant Accountant General.
Assistant Accountant General.
Assistant Accountant
General.
So you are supposed to assist the head of accounting services, or there's an accountant general in your staff establishment. You know, you have interesting titles in Machakos. Someone introduced themselves as executive personal assistant. Now I'm hearing assistant accountant general.
General is also chief of Asanga. Chair through.
He's not chief of.
Please just repeat your designation and name.
Chair through the governor, I'm Julius Kasanga, Chief Officer Finance. In our establishment, the Accountant General is equivalent to the head of accounting services. So Dan Motula is in essence the deputy of the position that.
So what happened to the guy who was holding that position?
He was transferred to a different role, and Motula assumed on an acting capacity. Chair.
Is Mutula the one who has certified the accounts for 2023-2024? The ones that are currently being audited?
Chair, yes.
Still as acting?
Yes.
If you don't trust him, Governor, if you don't trust him to hold a substantive position, why do you trust him to sign your financials?
Chair, I've told you, I was waiting I've got, I'm being strained, we are being strained financially as a county, and we're just looking at our financial status, and it's not that I don't trust him, he's working in that department. Once I get the finances, I'm going to advertise the position. And I've already initiated that.
Okay.
I can assure you I've already initiated that, the process to advertise internally.
Okay, fine.
He has been acting for 9 months.
1 year.
Number one, 1 year, or close to 1 year. What could be the justification? Number two, where is the evidence, Governor, that you want to do competitive recruitment? We are not canvassing for Mr. Mutula, but where is the evidence that shows that you want to competitively fill that position, because he is signing your financial statements, which shows the functionality and CCM finance. I don't know whether he's giving you the correct advice. The fact that you trust somebody to sign your financial statements, the heartbeat of running of the organization, it means that person, the threshold of qualification of that person and competence and ability should be beyond reproach. So where is the evidence to show that you are doing competitive recruitment
Chair,
for that position?
Chair, before she answers
Governor,
that,
Senator.
What does the law say about acting? How long should one act? Should one be acting for a
infinity.
year? Yes. What does the law say?
And we have seen he was a CEO.
Auditor.
Okay, Chair. You need to act maximum 6 months. Either you are confirmed or you go back to your original.
Yeah, and that matter has been canvassed.
So how come, Chair, he has been acting for about a year?
Yes.
Governor, you remember, I think there was a preliminary observation that a number of your staff are on acting basis. But addressing this specific issue, first of all, respond to the Senator.
Chair, I've said we had issues of finance, and I already initiated the process. And once we are done, we are going to advertise. It is competitive. So
you have a lot of HR decisions that you must make, and you must be bold enough to make those decisions. You are the Chief Executive Officer of Machakos County. You need to make the right decisions, because you rely on your team to deliver. You are a politician, you are a policy bearer, you are a vision bearer. They are the ones who do the reconciliations and the technical work. If you don't have the right people, it is going to impact on you. And an otherwise progressive governor might start looking like she does not know what she's doing, because the team around her does not have the confidence, and the team around her does not have the relevant comfort for them to make decisions. So I think, Governor, the HR aspect is also one of the areas that you need to pay a lot of attention to. I hope you have a county public service board, a chair that is substantive. Is the chair substantive of the county public service board?
Yes, yes.
A secretary that is substantive?
Yes, yes.
And it's fully established?
Yes, it is fully constituted.
You now have a staff establishment?
Yes, I have.
I heard you say not too long ago that you are building structures afresh.
We already have the staff establishment.
Okay.
So now we are trying to rationalize.
I think look at it as a matter of urgency.
We are trying to rationalize.
Otherwise, it's going to
and
be
Senator,
your hamstring.
when you're dealing, I understand you, Senator, but you're also dealing with human beings. Sometimes you have to know how to handle these things, because you're dealing with human beings.
But remember, there's the law.
There's a law. The law must be followed, Senator.
It has already been breached on the acting.
And the bottom line is performance. So I've told you, for the acting is it was about financial matters, and I'm sorted. I'm able to put the advert, and the paperwork is already done. The internal.
Okay, let's leave it at that. Senator Dulo, then Senator Kavindu, so that we can proceed.
I just wanted, it's actually surprising to hear from the governor they are having financial problems in recruitment of staff. If it is a county like Isiolo, I could understand, because of the budget allocation that is given to those counties. Does it mean Machakos doesn't have money for recruitment of staff?
Challenges are there. Challenges are everywhere. Also, getting money from Treasury is a challenge. I'm not going to add more people or add myself more burden while I cannot.
You're not adding people. You're already having challenges with the ones you are substantially supposed to fill.
So,
more specifically, you are head of finance.
Governor, just hold on. It would be neater. It would be neater to get the submissions of the senators so that you respond.
Chair.
Senator Cherargei, then Senator Kavindu will have the final.
Follow up on Senator Dulo. Governor, you said you did HR audit, which the report you have tabled. In this HR audit, was there a possibility of redundancy of some positions? Because head of accounting services is so critical. Like chief officer of finance, you cannot say you don't need it because you don't have money to pay their salary. It means the organization will grind to a halt, considering that these financial statements and head of accounting services is a very critical and important aspect within the organization of Machakos County Executive. So in your HR audit, when you started staff rationalization, I thought the head of accounting services is more critical than any other positions because it shows the heartbeat of the financial infrastructure within the county government of Machakos.
Those are the critical positions that came out, Chair, and the paperwork is already out.
Okay, Senator Kavindu Mudam.
Chair, I was just wondering from the governor, how many more officers are in acting position for this long? Because if the law says they should be acting for 6 months, and then they are either taken back to where they came from or they are promoted, how many others are still acting in Machakos County?
Governor, do you have that data?
I can provide the data.
Okay, I think it would be important.
Yes.
It will inform our report writing and the recommendations that we need to make.
Yeah.
Please, and this time, don't do what we did on 12th October last year, where we give directions only for them to be fulfilled 1 year down the line. Let us get a listing of the officers who are in acting positions, the duration that they've been acting. In that schedule, include the positions they're acting in and their substantive positions and the duration, and a commentary on the plans by the county executive to either recruit or to formalize. I think that schedule would help us because we want to see head of accounting is acting, are there people acting in other critical sectors? Now, Governor?
Is it possible for can the clerk write to us?
Yes, the clerk will write to you.
So that we can respond.
I must give the details so that it's captured on Hansard for the clerk then to communicate to you.
Thank you.
But you should also be taking note of what needs to be provided within 14 days.
Thank you.
On this particular matter of variances, I think the matter remains unresolved, and we are not convinced that the problem is at the National Treasury, and we ask the Auditor General to keep it in view and to report on it in the subsequent cycle. Senator
There was a letter that the CCM Finance had indicated that he had written to National Treasury. I don't know, was there any response to that letter of 2023 concerning the technical of working with the National Treasury? And Chair, maybe since the CCM is the only person with privilege of seeing that letter, maybe I don't know whether he can supply later or something.
I think I can allow them to supply it so that it forms part of the records.
Sorry.
No, Governor, just let it be tabled so that we can proceed to other matters.
Can I just clarify something?
Okay, proceed.
We wrote to Treasury on 11th April 2023, and the National Treasury replied on 17th May 2023.
Yeah, please table that because we want to see the content of the conversation.
Again,
it might have been year-end procedures and not a specific request. So you just table the report. We shall consider it. The clerk of the Senate. Honourable members, we proceed. Accuracy of employee costs. The Auditor General has reported that this matter has now been resolved. There was a 401 million variance that was queried. Auditor General, has this matter now been addressed?
Chair, the matter has been addressed. The variance and reconciliation has been done to address the variance, and it was actually arising from the IPPD data, which has not captured the contribution to pension. This is LAP Trust and LAP Fund. So that reconciliation has been done. The 401 is actually the statutory contribution.
Fine. So we can adopt the written responses and the supporting annexures.
Yes, Chair.
Cash and bank balances.
Cash and accuracy of cash and bank balances. The statement of assets and liabilities, and as disclosed in notes 13A and 13B, reflect bank balances of Kenya shillings 1,916,198,744 at the nil cash in hand. However, audit review of financial record revealed that the disclosed bank balances of Kenya shillings 1,916,198,744 related to ordinary 18.
Auditor General,
sorry.
For purposes of time management,
yes, sir.
Because we had gotten a brief, we are taking your finding as captured and the response as provided, but you indicated that only 170 bank accounts had been reconciled.
Exactly, Chair. 170 were reconciled. The balance from 245 have remained unreconciled, Chair.
So 75 bank accounts have remained unreconciled.
Yes, Chair.
Governor, for purposes of efficiency, do you agree that only 170 accounts were reconciled? And if so, what is the status of the other 75 bank accounts?
The 245 bank account balances did not form part of the bank, and cash balances in the...
Governor, we shall take your written response, and I'm trying to manage this so that we can cover more areas. You have already submitted your written response. We have analyzed it, and it emerges that only 170 have been reconciled. 75 have not been reconciled. So that's what we need to deal with, the gap. The rest of the response we shall take as per what you have submitted.
The rest of the bank accounts were reconciled, and the details will be forwarded to the auditors.
170 were reconciled, 75 were not.
The rest have been reconciled, and the information will be forwarded to the auditors.
Has been or will be?
Has been reconciled.
What has been done? The reconciliation?
The reconciliation.
And has it been submitted to the auditor?
It will be submitted to the auditor.
Why? If it has been done, why has it not been submitted to the auditor?
We will submit it as soon as possible, Chair.
Governor, remember, there's a court ruling that has just hit us, saying that audit reports must be considered within 6 months, as stated in the Constitution. Senator Mtata, you probably understand it better.
Yeah.
So when you come and tell us that it will be, we might find ourselves running outside the constitutional timelines. We are already outside constitutional timelines. So if something has been done, why isn't it with the Auditor General?
Thank you, Chair. And through the Governor, during the audit period, it's 170 accounts that had not been reconciled, but were subsequently reconciled and submitted to the auditors. The 75 during the audit and been reconciled, and it's not part of this audit query.
Auditor General?
Yeah, the position is, as we have observed, out of 245 bank accounts, 170 has been reconciled, submitted, and we have confirmed.
We are not supported.
The balance has not been reconciled, and that is what the Honorable Governor is saying. They have done it, and they can...
There cannot be two versions of the truth.
We will provide.
Do you have evidence of the 75 that were reconciled and presented to the Office of the Auditor General?
Yes, Chair, and we can still provide the same.
I will direct that the two officers just review this, and at the end of the day, the word that we will take will be the word of the Office of the Auditor General.
Okay.
Patrick, that's fair?
Thank you, Chair. We'll do that, exactly that.
Okay, so you can advise us at the point of report writing, but please supply that information to the Office of the Auditor General in 7 days, because you're saying it already exists. Senator Kavindu.
Chair, I just want to tell my governor your team must work and must deliver. You should not even come and ask them questions here because they have all the questions that they are coming to answer here. They should advise you in advance. And there is an office which is failing here. And they should not do this to the governor.
That's coming from she's our mother in the Senate. I think it's a point of concern that we share. Senator Cherargei?
I can see Senator Okia's laughing when you say he's our mother in the Senate, but that is beside the point. What I wanted to find out, Governor, how many, we have had stories where other counties are having 300, 400 bank accounts. How many bank accounts do you have in Machakos County as of today, including the special purpose accounts that are normally open under KUSP? And of these bank accounts, because it looks like 245, so how many do you have as of today? And have they been open as per the PMF Act?
I have 231 accounts, and majority of them are for hospitals.
Under Facilities Improvements Act?
There, yes.
Okay. So
I think one distinction that we must make, the Facility Improvement Financing Act was enacted last year.
Correct.
We went through it when we were in Turkana.
Correct.
And so governors keep using that as a reason why they have multiple accounts.
Correct.
Prior to enactment of that law, this was not permissible. I think it's only now that the law has passed that we can talk about it. But I've heard governors saying that because of that act, you can have multiple accounts. That act came into force just last year, alongside the three other.
Maybe I can rephrase, Governor, maybe I can rephrase how many commercial bank accounts outside the establishment of financial Facilities Improvement of Health Act outside, how many commercial bank accounts? Number one. Number two, do you have pay bill or M-Pesa accounts, and how many are they?
Okay. Now, Chair, I go to the first question about the accounts for the hospitals. They were permitted through Danida because most of the money for the level 2s were going to.
Why Danida, not the laws of Kenya?
Their money was going direct to the facilities.
It was coming as conditional grants.
Yeah,
the facilities.
And there was no law then.
To the facilities direct. They said they were giving the facilities direct.
Governor, we are fairly informed about these processes. I think there was a violation of the law, but it has now been corrected now that we have the Facility Financing Act. And I think that's why there's another committee of the Senate that, I don't know whether you've appeared before them on the issue of bank accounts. Was that the Devolution Committee? Have you been before the Devolution Committee on issue of bank accounts?
We are coming on the 6th.
Yeah, so I think you'll have that detailed conversation, but the position has been that it was irregular. But the saving grace is that there is now a law. So maybe what people need to agree on is how to move forward.
That's why I just wanted her to answer on the issue of commercial bank accounts outside the accounts that belong under the Act of Health Facilities Improvement Act. How many commercial bank accounts do you have? Commercial bank accounts, leave out the special purpose account and the one for facilities, and then the M-Pesa pay bill that you have.
The M-Pesa, I can tell you I found over 200 M-Pesa pay bills. I collapsed all of them, killed all of them. I have two pay bill numbers, 1616-1 and 1616-0. Which 1616-1. The one is for the hospitals, and the 1616-0 is for the rest of the county.
Okay.
What about commercial bank accounts? Just quickly.
Commercial account, I have 213, and that is KCB, Cooperative, Equity. And 18 belong to Central Bank of Kenya, but majority of them are in KCB.
What could be the reason? Just under 30 seconds.
Sorry,
What could be the reason you have such huge number of commercial bank accounts?
It's
outside the finance. No, I've just said commercial bank accounts outside the outside the facilities accounts that belong to health. So you want to say 213, all of them belong to health facilities?
I can be very clear with that. I can go through the accounts and tell you what they are for. We have with CBK, which is for the recurrent, CBK again.
Governor, you are not getting the question.
You're not getting my question. I'm saying commercial bank accounts, not the CRF, not the one that belong to the county treasury, not the one that belongs to special purpose accounts of KSUP, Kenya Urban Support Programs or World Bank. I'm talking about specifically commercial bank accounts that you have opened with commercial, like the way you have said about KCB. So my question is, do all these bank accounts belong to health facilities only, or there are others outside health facilities?
Health facility is 178, and outside is 35.
35, excluding the CRF at the central bank.
Yes.
Why do you need these 35 commercial bank accounts? What is it for?
Now explain.
The chair through the governor. The rest of the accounts are for the donor funds.
I've said outside special purpose accounts.
They are SPS.
Yes, they are donor funds which are administered through the commercial.
But I ask a specific question, Bwana CEO, that are not part of special purpose accounts. I just want the commercial bank accounts. I'm hearing you are being told 6.
Sorry, Chair.
He does not seem to believe.
He doesn't believe, and is the accounting officer under the PNO.
Senator, I think through the governor, I think we had not gotten your question.
Yes.
I think I was indicating that outside the SPA accounts that are in CBK.
Yes.
And the commercial banks accounts that are for the health facilities.
Yes.
The rest of the accounts are for the donor. They are donor
No,
funds.
you are confusing, Chief Officer. I have just said outside the CRF that belong to Central Bank, outside the SPS,
yes,
outside the LT Facilities Improvement account, I just want other accounts. Is that more clear?
Chair, can you give us just 1 minute so that we can give you the information? Please.
And you need to confirm whether there is authority from Treasury on those accounts.
Yes.
Yes, Senator, through the governor, there is, we always open the commercial bank accounts upon advice by the National Treasury.
Chief Officer, how many? You know you are dragging us.
Chair, we are just giving you.
You have reduced chair from 231 now it was 213, I think 35.
Yes.
From 35, how many remains? Just want the commercial accounts only. I think the Chief Officer is feeling hot until he has adjusted this tie.
No, they are going to do it. We just up chair through chair. You just give us 1 minute, they'll give you that now.
But Governor, I have been watching the clock. It is beyond 1 minute. You know you have a clock behind you. That is over. It's now exactly a minute that has been spent.
And that's why at the end of the year you have 75 accounts that cannot be reconciled because of the multiplicity of bank accounts. Senator Omtat?
Now, there's the other thing of the control of budget. When you have got so many accounts, how does the control of budget oversight them? Because the idea that the control of budget should oversight these accounts. And to me, do I understand, technically under the way the law is crafted, you can't have more than 3 accounts. One for the development expenditure, the other one for recurrent, and one for, yeah. Yes, and even the Facilities Improvement Fund, the way it has been set up in the Act is unconstitutional, if you read it again, is the Public Finance Management Act. Just like Chief. Now I've challenged Chief. Chief that which I'm challenging, but the same Wembe can apply the other side, because the way Chief has been set up as a fund, it's totally in violation of the law. Yeah. So I think we need to look at that critically, because the auditor, the control of budget must never lose sight of the county funds. And you must have really justification as to why you must have more than those funds that are available. They are not bank accounts, sorry.
And you know, Chair, our worry, and the governor should list this carefully, is that is how money is being misappropriated. Because I'm happy she said there were over 300 M-Pesa and she collapsed to 2. That's a very justifiable reasoning. Now you can have a view of how money is collected through M-Pesa, which is good and efficient. The reason we want to be 3 SPS, CRF, maybe recurrent and development, is for easy view of even COB and other state organs that oversight.
Oh, yeah, yes. Members, we need to make some progress. COB,
maybe they
control of budget.
The number.
Thank you, Chair. From the control of budget, we always have a problem with the operating accounts that are not from CBK. And this is contrary to Regulation 82 of the PFM, which requires that all bank accounts are opened and maintained in the CBK. Now, for Machakos County, as per the report from the county, as per last year, they had 29 bank accounts which are outside CBK. Thank you, Chair.
And Senator Mtata, the Facility Improvement Financing Act, I had an opportunity to review it at a meeting of the COG. It was very poorly drafted, because it makes it mandatory for dispensaries to have bank accounts, for level 2, level 3s to have bank accounts, and there's one mandatory signatory. I think it's the sub-county accountant who's a mandatory signatory for those. So you'll find a county with several accounts with the same signatory. It looks very alarming, but it's a manner in which the law was crafted. So I hope it can be reviewed. Governor, please, do you have the numbers, or we can proceed and get back to you?
I have the numbers. 188 is hospital, 18 CBK, 9 is donors, 12 is the municipals. The municipals is, I've said 188 hospital, 18 CBK, 9 NGOs and donors, and 12 are for the municipals.
Okay, so the reason why we have taken a bit of time is that at the time of audit, the Auditor General says that only 18 bank accounts, that the financial records revealed 1.9 billion related to only 18 bank accounts, but 245 bank accounts with a balance of 225 million were not disclosed in the financial statements. That's a problem. And so you must, as a CEO, you must make sure that this creep of bank accounts is managed. But since the governor is appearing before the devolution committee on a similar subject, we shall align ourselves with the directions of the devolution committee. Let's proceed to our undisclosed outstanding imprest. Auditor General, you have reported that the 4.64 million has been surrendered.
Chair.
Are there surrender warrants that have been presented to you?
Surrender warrants were presented for audit, and we were able to verify.
So we shall review that and confirm whether the surrender was done in line with the law that requires interest to be charged. Unsupported prior year adjustments. I think on the very first issue, is this an accounting matter, or it's a risk of loss of finances?
It is an accounting matter, Chair, and it relates to number 1.
The one which we are directed should be adjusted in the ongoing financials.
Yes.
Fine, we shall take note of that. And confirmed assets balance, we had a discussion and made a distinction between historical assets and additions. Now, for historical assets, I think we are all aware of the problems and inefficiencies that have curbed the exercise, particularly IGRTC. We are more interested in the additions. Auditor General, can you confirm that the additions during the year under review have been disclosed?
Chair, the additions were disclosed, but there was the issue of work in progress, where there were still so many stored projects, if I can put that, and the values of those stored projects all over has not been captured as part of the work in progress.
So you have 476 million as work in progress, which means there's no value for money.
Exactly, Chair.
Okay, we shall come to the projects in the subsequent issues. Use of goods and services, 8.1, 17 million was omitted in the GL in IFMIS. Has this now been accounted for, OAG?
Chair, it has been accounted. The search was from the current account, but from now the development for roads and transport, this entire figure was confirmed. First was 10 million and then 7 million. This is because under the transport, roads and transport, the fuel is actually capitalized because this is for construction of roads. So
the explanation provided can address the issue.
It can address the issue, Chair.
8.2 unsupported expenditure. Here you have reported that the county has provided evidence of 100 million rather than 67 million.
Chair, in the process of supporting, the total figure of the supported vouchers was adding up to 100 million instead of what was queried, which is 67,574,700.
We have a problem with that, Governor. And whereas we will consider your written response, we must, you must tell us, for example, under hospitality supplies and services and other operating expenses, 25 million. Did you provide the vouchers to support that payment? And if you did, in which appendix can we find them? Let's just take one row. Relating to hospitality supplies and services and other operating expenses, 25 million. Refer us to the appendix and then just show us this is payment voucher 1, 2, 3, totaling to 25.3 million.
Let them address. On the appendix.
The Chair, through the Governor, we were able to submit the payment vouchers in support of 25,358,115, and it is Appendix 8.2, number 9.
Appendix 8.2, Auditor General. Since you have, does Appendix 8.2?
Yes, Chair. There is Appendix 8.2. Over-supported there. The challenge was only the issue of particularizing which specific expenditure they were supporting, and that's how we ended up with a higher figure than what was in the query.
So you have come with this to support an expenditure of 25 million. If these payment vouchers were present during audit, why would they not be given to the auditor? Why do you have to come with them to Nairobi? All this, Governor, all this, you have brought them to confirm expenditure of 67 million. Why do we waste the time of the Senate if these records were available in the county for you to carry them? It's actually half your submission. You spent more than 10 billion in the year. But the records you have come with, half of it is just to explain payment vouchers for 67 million. Were these manufactured after the audit? So where were
They cannot be manufactured.
Where were they when the auditor was looking for them?
Chair, through the governor, the audit exercise, sometimes the documentation is provided. It's a continuous process. Sometimes the process ends when some documents
I want you to ask your county attorney, if he's still in office, to interpret for you the that ruling. Which judge rendered that ruling about the finality of audit reports and the timelines? It will make nonsense of your submission. Governor, I hope your chief officer is listening. Whatever you are submitting is a perception of the past. The courts have ruled that audits must end by a certain date. The Auditor General must report by 31st of December. Parliament must consider the reports within 6 months. The county government must provide records within the timeframes in the Constitution. So vacate your mind from what we used to do in the past. Going forward, we will not be accepting these kind of things outside the audit period. We would just make a declaration that 67.5 million was stolen in Machakos, because when the auditor was there, the vouchers were not provided. Now, Auditor General, you said it's made worse that the evidence in these files totals to 100 million.
That is the position, Chair.
So which line item has not been, in which line item has the evidence exceeded your...
That was the problem, Chair, because the support was not itemizing. It was not being particularized in some of the cases where you get one voucher supporting more than 3 different payments, and only one payment was to come to support the 67.
I think what you can help us with,
yes,
analyze the vouchers.
Yes, that's okay.
Let us know in which row there is a problem.
Okay.
If there's a row with a problem, that will be indicative of loss of public funds.
Obliged.
If there's a row that is properly supported, we can tick it off and say it has been supported.
That's okay.
Senator
Maybe just quick observation as we exit, Chair. When you look at that Appendix 8A, even 8.2 on the 25.3 million 58115, Chair, I can see some annexures that have been attached are irrelevant. It does not answer the audit query. And I don't know why, I don't know, maybe, Chair, there is always a perception that the committee is too busy or members are too busy until they can root through, because a quick glance to this, some of them are receipts that are not even authenticated, they are not stamped. I can only see one payment voucher, Governor, that is of 1.9 million that was paid, delivery of general office, but the rest, inspection and clearance. I thought they issue and even receipts from Reliable Packers Limited, some agreements, some lists. But the question was answering where are the payment vouchers that can total to 25.358. And in fact, the question was very specific, Governor, and I hope your people are listening. It says payment vouchers were not provided. It means if the payment vouchers had been provided, then this question would have been answered. But looking, the only payment voucher I can see at a quick glance is of the 1.9 million. The others are receipts. I have seen a counter receipt voucher that does not that talks about numbers like counter book and others from the county government of Machakos. So, and others are just the lists. Others are the pictures of building materials and what have you, single business permit. So I think, Chair, I agree with you that the issue was payment vouchers.
So on this, because of time, Auditor General, you shall review and advise us, and your advice on this will be final. Next, misclassified expenditure, Again, has this been resolved, OAG?
Not yet, Chair.
What is the gap?
For the issue of misclassified expenditure share, this was involving two donor funds. For the first,
Chair, sorry.
Order, Governor, I think it is to your best interest that we proceed.
There's something I want to be very clear about what Senator has said.
No, Governor, you shall not reopen.
The information is here.
I've given the ruling as a chair. I've told the Auditor General to verify, and then we shall take the word of the Auditor General. Proceed, OAG.
The issue is not addressed. The amount of the 698,896,690.
86.
Sorry. The support, proper support has not been availed, so that we can be able to verify the issue of addressing the misclassification.
Who is the custodian of the chart of accounts? Isn't it the National Treasury?
The National Treasury is the in charge, but this is chaired now to the counties, and of course also
Auditor, I'm saying that because they are referring to the chart of accounts as being the problem in terms of posting of expenditure. Because I'm wondering how the chart of accounts would then allow you to post expenditure relating to foreign travel to domestic travel.
That is now the point here.
So it cannot be explained under chart of accounts.
That will not be adequate explanation.
When you have misclassification of expenditure, it simply means you have exhausted your budget lines, so you are raiding other budget lines without following the necessary approval. OAG, isn't that the symptom?
Yeah, that is actually the symptom, and probably what would have been the cure is the supplementary budget for the reallocation.
Control of budget, this thing of misclassification of expenditure, are we making the right analysis that when they misclassify, it means they have exhausted domestic travel, so now they are charging domestic travel on foreign travel?
Thank you, Chair. Yeah, even when you look from our reports, we have reported that some departments have expenditure over and above what was issued by the controller of budget. So that shows a weak budgetary practices in the county.
Governor, I think I take note of your response. It relates to the standard chart of accounts, but we do not agree that that is a root cause. I think we shall review this, and our interim observation is that this could be a result of budget indiscipline.
No, Chair, can you give us an opportunity to answer?
Your answer is here. And your answer talks about the standard chart of accounts. What else are you going to say? We have said we don't agree with it. So if this is your answer on record, then I can tell you that we have seen 46 other counties, and this cannot be the explanation. CC, very briefly.
Chair, through the governor, over and above this now, for us to address this problem, we've come up with an internal control where for every department, if you are requisitioning, the departmental budget officer indicates the vote line and the balance available, then it is
that is a mitigation going forward.
Mitigation going forward.
So on this, you are as charged?
We
now you have a mitigation going forward?
We have a mitigation going forward.
Fine. We shall give a direction on that in our report. Let's go to year cut-off procedures. Auditor General, are these related to late exchequer disbursements, or it's another problem?
Actually, Chair, this is the issue of exchequer being released after 30th June, and this is a common problem that cut across.
So there we can take the written responses.
Yes,
was there a risk of loss of funds?
There was no risk of loss of funds. It's only that when we are doing the reporting and audit, we have to adhere with what we call the cutoff.
Fine. We agree that that's a pervasive problem, and I think it requires a broader policy recommendation. On pending bills, we spent the first 1 hour talking about the matter that has been raised in the second paragraph of that observation. So there are two components to pending bills. There are bills or accounts payable to various suppliers of goods and services. The Finance Committee of the Senate has been directed by the Speaker to summon governors for the governors to provide an update on implementation of the resolution of the Senate on pending bills. Now, Governor, I want you to confirm that you received the Senate's resolution on how to treat pending bills. It was, I think, past about, is it 6 months now? Yeah. It's 6 months now, and it's overdue now for reporting back. Can you confirm that you are seized of the matter, Governor?
Yes, Chair.
Okay, so then the Finance Committee shall deal with that. This committee will take particular interest on the aspect of legal fees. You tabled a document before us of taxed and untaxed expenditure. You did not table the detailed contingent liabilities register. You are reading through it. Did you table it? You only table the taxed and untaxed invoices. Can you also table the contingent liabilities register? So it contains the contingent liabilities as
yes.
well? Okay. So fine. So we shall review this so that we can give appropriate advice, but let it go on record that you need to ensure that you've got a properly functioning county attorney's office as required by the County Attorneys Act. Whatever decisions that need to be made are your prerogative as a CEO of the organization, but there's dysfunction and you need to deal with it. Honorable members, since we spent a lot of time on this subject, I want to propose that we review what has been tabled, because we are still not familiar with the contents, and if there's need for further information, we can ask for that. Also, Governor, there was something the solicitor was referring to, that there was an audit, a legal fees audit that was done, which Senator Sifuna was asking, does that information exist on paper somewhere? Is there documentary evidence of that action that was taken that can be presented to the Senate?
Chair and honorable members, what we have in that report is the legal fees that have been presented to us and those that have been taxed. What we have not been able to do is to engage the advocates in negotiation and taxation. That has been prevented by the fact that we don't have a substantive...
Let me stop you. It's yes. 2 o'clock. Where does that information lie?
In the report that you have on your table,
that story you are telling us is in that report?
Yes. It clearly shows all invoices.
The results of the audit are in that report?
Yes, it is from the Pending Bills Task Force and the report that was given to the Legal Implementation Committee. Further to that, we recommended to Her Excellency that we need to undertake a legal audit of the department. That includes...
That recommendation is in that report?
No, that recommendation is what we gave to Her Excellency.
I think you understand where I'm going to.
Yes, I do.
We need documentary evidence of those initiatives and the advice that you have given, even if it's work in progress.
Yes.
Because you made it clear that it's work in progress.
Yes.
We need it reduced in writing. Maybe a status report, because that report seems to be just a schedule, an Excel spreadsheet.
Yes.
Of transactions.
Yes.
So can you do a letter, Governor, to the Senate showing that this is what we have done, these are the milestones, this is what we have achieved, this is what we still intend to achieve? Then it can guide us when we are doing our report.
Thank you, Chair. We'll do that.
So can we do it within the 14-day window?
Yes,
Let's
Chair.
do that within the 14-day window.
Within the 14-day window, we'll do it, Chair.
Honorable members, we could proceed. Under budget control and performance, we shall take note of the written responses. Going to report on lawfulness and effectiveness in use of public resources. There are a few issues that we'll need to pay attention to. Let's start with the irregular sharing of revenue, because this has a bearing on the receipt of revenue report. Irregular sharing of revenue.
Okay, in a summary form, or I read the in a summary form. So the issue chair was a consultant who was engaged to do the engineering of life form, which now led to what is being called the C form. And in the contract document, there is a provision to be paid 1.5% of the revenue which was collected, the collected revenue. However, we were able to review the contract between the county and the consultant, and the contract basically talk of 1.5% of revenue. This is not paid at the source. First, the revenue is collected in a normal way, and now the consultant is paid like any other merchant or consultant. But the committee can give the direction.
So what was the problem?
The problem, Chair, when the audit was being conducted, this contract was not availed for the audit review. So we took it, it was 1.5% revenue which is being shared. And the review of the process under which this consultant was brought in, two issues came up. That one of the criteria which was set was for the consultant to do a live demo, but this was never conducted. So those were the two issues that were coming out at the time of the audit. Subsequent to that, the contract now has been availed and reviewed. It is still talking of 1.5% of revenue which is collected, but we confirm that it is not paid at the source. This is
okay. Let me stop you there.
Yes.
Governor, is it true that the service provider was paid 25,443,000?
Yes, as per the contract, and the contract is here. I found it ongoing. That's the contract.
And that is supposed to be 1.5% of revenue collected?
Yes, we found it, but we are out of that system.
No, let's deal with the problem, the issue as is, not as was later rectified. If 1.5% is 25 million, then 100% is 1.6 billion. Did you collect 1.6 billion through the system?
Chair, the voucher supporting that payment was provided, and it clearly indicates it's for a number of years. And when the governor assumed office, the vendor...
So the 25 was for what duration?
For a long duration.
No, you need to be clear that this was this financial year, because I have the receiver of revenue statement here. You collected 1.4 billion. So you couldn't have paid 1.5 on 1.6 billion. That was not collected.
The appendix. It's appendix.
I thought that information would be in the appendices that you have come with.
Yes, it is.
Where is it? Is your receiver of revenue here, Governor?
Yes.
Who's the receiver of revenue?
It's in Appendix 2. He's the receiver.
So receiver of revenue, this 25 million was paid for which duration?
Chair, through the governor, this was paying. It was paying for 2 years. It was an accumulated arrears.
So
it was not for the year.
For 2 years.
Yes.
And how many streams were automated them to be collected through the system?
That system had 33 streams.
So for year one, how much was collected through the system?
Chair, from the appendix, I can read the breakdown of what constituted the 25. For the period between 1st March to 2022 to 30th June.
You said it's Appendix 2?
Appendix 2.1.
Yep. Proceed.
You'll find a breakdown of what constituted the 25 million
Appendix
amount.
2.1?
Yes.
Is it supposed to be this file?
Yes.
So Appendix 2.1.
Volume 8.
Upgrading of life forms. Where is that breakdown?
Alongside. It's not page. Page 15.
What is?
Page 15. Can I
Page, Chair, can we share with you the page? The document?
Your supporting documents should speak for themselves. Now, you have data here. Now, give us information. Can you synthesize it in a way that we can understand? The 25 million was paid for what duration?
In 1st March 2022 to 30th June 2022, that is 4.5 million. 1st in December 2021 to 28th February 2022, that's 3.8 million. 1st June 2021 to 30th November 2021, 3.5 million. 1st February 2021 to 31st May 2021, 5.7. 1st July 2020 to 31st January 2021, 4.2.
So during that duration, it is you agree that the system handled 1.666 billion.
Based on the provision of 1.1, yes.
No, that's a billing thing. When you go to the source data, did the system handle 1.666 billion for you to pay 25 billion?
Chair, there are statements attached on that, but based on the provision of the contract, it presumed that the 25.4 million was based on 1.5% of that amount.
1.5%?
It's only that it was.
Where have you, what you have presented here is an invoice. Aren't you referring to invoices?
No, in that invoice, there is a schedule. There is a schedule summarizing the 25.
Who prepared the schedule, the service provider or the county?
The county.
Can you demonstrate one such example? Because I'm seeing a payment voucher or an LPO LSO, and invoices are attached 7643 etc etc, originating from the vendor. Is there an analysis by the county to say that indeed we collected cumulatively 1.6 billion for us to pay 25 million.
There is appendix 4.16.
Are you referring to this table?
Now, yes, I'm from that table. There is an appendix 4.16 Roman 1. Which 4.16 Roman 1.
Livestock, land rents, ground. I can see appendix 4.16 Roman 1. Is that the document you are referring to?
Yes.
So what does it have?
But it cannot be seen properly.
Yes.
Land rent, ground rent. It is on this.
Yes.
416.
I think the total comes to budget. Is it legible, those numbers?
You can't. You cannot read it.
4.16. The one on Roman 2. Appendix 2 Roman.
Even if you are tempted to read it, there are some two totals at the bottom.
Yeah, you.
There's a total for actual and a total for budget. The budget is 1.6 billion. The actual is 1.4 billion. Were you paying based on the budget or based on the actual?
You can, Chair, you pay against actuals, not budget.
So that percentage, if the actual should have been 1.6 billion, 1.67 billion, the actual here is 1.4 billion. Doesn't that make a difference?
Yes, it makes sense.
How do you explain it?
But Chair, I know you say government is continuous, but this is a problem I found that I'm trying to sort out.
So you agree that the payments were not commensurate to the services rendered?
Let them confirm that.
No, I want your confirmation as governor. Governor? It's going to make our life easy because once you agree that there was a problem, then it is our job now to make a recommendation.
Thank you, Chair, and through Your Excellency. These invoices relate to different financial years and not one financial year. We have one for July 2020 to January 2021.
Are you still on Appendix 4.16?
Yes.
Because that's where the chief officer has taken us.
Yes, I'm now in Appendix 4.16 Roman 1. And this report relates to the financial year the financial year 2022-2023. So of the 25 million that was paid, the whole 25 million does not relate to the financial year 2022-2023, but only the invoices that relate to that financial year.
So where do we get data on the balance?
We should be able to provide all missing data, but
you are going to manufacture those things, my friend, because even this Appendix 4.16, you can easily do it on your laptop.
And
there is no evidence. It is unsigned.
Yes.
It is undated. It is unheaded. It is unowned. I'm not going to give you a window to commit further illegalities. We cannot rely on this as a basis for payment of 25 million. I think, honorable members, this is a matter that we need to treat with the utmost suspicion.
Even, Chair, I've just noticed even the governor's responses are unsigned. Even by Dr. Muya Ndambuki, PhD. So there is no authenticity of the even annex, the one that has been provided, 1B Roman, where it has not been indicated. Some items are not very clear. So even at the management response is not yet signed by Dr. Muya Ndambuki, the county secretary.
I think on this, members, we'll just give an advice recommendation on this particular matter.
Chair, before you make a decision, Chair, can you allow the before you make a decision, Chair?
I'm not going to allow any further comments on that because we have only 10 minutes to conclude, unless you are happy to go to Machakos and come back tomorrow for us to continue with this exercise. There are a few projects, Governor. The Community Recreation Center. I've jumped over to project implementation. Construction of Community Recreation Center. Is this project complete as we speak?
Engineer Musyoki? Musyoki.
Who is Engineer Musyoki?
Chair, through the governor, the project is not yet complete.
What is the current percentage status?
10%.
10%?
Yes.
From
Chair.
the year 2018?
That is true, Chair, through the governor.
Why is it 10% for 6 years?
The bigger challenge has been the available budget for completing the outstanding works.
But you had the Auditor General say that work in progress is estimated at 400 and, was it 426 million? Auditor General, give us the exact figure.
That is assets.
Can I respond, Chair, to that?
No, I want us to locate this conversation within the context of work in progress.
Chair,
because it's a value for money question.
The work in progress, Chair, is 476,157,461.
So you have 476 million worth of projects that have been initiated, not completed. Therefore, there is no value for the residents of Machakos. 476 stuck in concrete, brick, mortar. 476 million. Community Recreation Center is one of them. 12, 15-story thin and tall building. Is that complete?
That one is ongoing. I found it at the 6th floor. It's at the 11th floor now.
Is it being put to use?
No, we are.
It's still under construction.
It's still under construction.
So no value for money.
No, there's value for money, Chair.
Value for money means that it is being used for the intended purpose.
I found it at 6th floor, Chair, and I've worked on it. It's on the 11th floor, and we'll start occupying. They are finishing the external works. We'll start occupying from February because there will not be any external works being done.
Now, there were a number of stadia. I think when we were looking at other stall projects, listed down there about 12 of them, including the airport. Clerk, could you just read them out so that we can get a report on whether they are done?
Yes, Chair.
So, against the reading of each, you'll just tell us their status and what the challenges are. I think one was Mavoko Stadium.
Mavoko Stadium was the first one, Chair.
Mavoko Stadium, complete or not?
Mavoko Stadium is not complete.
What percentage?
We agreed to partner with the national government. They're supposed to transfer 100 million for me and my bid so that we can do the work. The president came there and committed, so I'm waiting for the money to come, 100 million.
So the current percentage.
What percentage?
Chair, through the governor, it's also at 10%.
10%?
Yes.
Do you have a figure on what has been spent so far on it? Do you have it or?
No, I can confirm that one.
Masi Stadium?
Masi Stadium is also at 10%.
Inui Stadium?
65%.
Ikombe Stadium?
Chair,
and I hope those numbers are not just flying from your head like a politician. No.
Through Chair, maybe they should be giving at percentage of work.
Chair, Kinyui, Mavoko, and Ikombe have put some money on it, so we are starting to work on them from this year. I understand the importance of not wasting public funds, and as
Order, Governor. Let's first deal with the situation as is, then we shall listen to your good plans. So Ikombe Stadium is at what percentage?
Yeah, I was requesting that when they give us the percentage of works done, they should also indicate the percentage of payment.
Yes.
Because it could be 10% pay done works and 95% paid. So if we could do that.
I think we should start with the value. With the
Value of the project, yeah.
The value of the project, the work done.
The BQ of the project, the value of the project timeline, when was it started, when was it, so that we see value for money.
Chair, we were not informed that we were going to be asked that information, so we might not have the information here now.
Governor, this information
we will supply.
Order. Because you might allege ambush. There's no ambush. This information is in the 2020-2021 statement, which you said you are ready to deal with. It was in the 2021-2022, and part of it has been carried to 2022-2023. So there's no ambush. So do you have the information as requested by Senator Omtata that for each project you can tell us the project, the contract sum, the effective date, percentage completion, and percentage paid?
The engineer will provide, and I'll make sure you get it within the time you tell me, Chair.
Do you have it now? Because I still have 4 minutes to go.
I don't have it now, Chair. I will provide it, Chair.
Now, Senator Kapindu.
Chair, as I told you before, I've dealt with these issues of pending bills in Machakos since the previous government. And that is why I'm requesting this committee to come to Machakos and see the stalled projects at the ground level.
I totally agree. Considering the intervention by Senator Omtata, the clerk of the Senate will list all the projects that are stalled. Even though, Auditor General, we have agreed also that in your current year audit, you must do a project listing. We gave those directions yesterday in the case of Uasin Gishu. You've seen there's an appendix here on procurement matters, which I think is the last thing we are going to deal with. We should also have an appendix on projects that lists their commencement date, the contract sum, the position as at the time of audit, and the amounts paid as at the time of audit. Sometimes when the county gives that information, there's a risk of exaggeration, so that the percentage completion ties with the percentage paid. But sometimes percentage completion is 10, percentage paid is 90. We have seen that in places like Turkana, and that's why I want to trust the Auditor General to do a better job. But nonetheless, because you have to respond to the issues in this report, as well as the issues in 2020-2021, we shall list the projects, and for avoidance of doubt, they are the Community Recreation Center, the 12-15-story thin and tall building, Mavoko Stadium, Masi Stadium, Kinyui Stadium, Ikombe Stadium, Mumbuni Dam, a commercial mixed-use facility. There's a project like that?
Yes.
Commercial mixed-use?
Yes, there is.
Facility. There's a the recreation center we dealt with. There's a public area. Clerk, what did you call it?
Construction of public area facility.
Construction of public area facility. It's in the Auditor General's report.
Yes.
For which year?
2021-22.
2021-2022. Staff houses.
Staff houses in Matu sub-county.
Staff houses in Matu sub-county.
Those ones are done. They're finished.
Yes, you will give us the report on that. And when you tell us it was done, you'll also give us the total cost compared to the contract amount. Executive washrooms.
It's at Matu County Office.
The airport? Executive washroom? The airport is listed as an expenditure. It's an expenditure in your books of accounts, Governor.
Even executive
16 kilometer dual carriage. 16 kilometer dual carriage. So what you'll do, clerk, extract the projects that are stalled or queried from 2020-21 all the way to 2022-2023. And the county shall, within those 14 days, respond by giving us those that basic information as requested by Senator Mtata. That then will guide us in taking a position and making a declaration on value for money on the 467 million work in progress. Finally, there's a litany of procurement irregularities, 12 cases of procurement irregularities. Who's the head of procurement? The head of procurement, there's an appendix that lists your misbehavior in terms of procurement. None of them has been supported. Auditor General, could I be mistaken?
That is the position, Chair.
None of them has been supported. Why? Why should you continue serving the people of Machakos? Can someone help him to switch that on?
Okay. Through Your Excellency, Chair, we noted that there were some irregularities. Some measures have been taken.
Were you in office?
I was not in charge then.
What was your role?
I'm now trying to to check on the documentation.
What was your role then? Were you in the organization then?
Yes, I was.
In what capacity?
As an advisor.
An advisor?
Not directly involved in the procurement.
As an advisor to?
Procurement matters.
Which has resulted in 12 irregularities?
There are not 12, there are 5 irregularities. The 7 of them are partially solved. They are solved, I can say that.
The solution is for us to decide on.
Yes, please.
There are 12 as per the schedule I have.
Yeah.
So you are not the head of supply chain at that point?
At that point, please.
Are you a member of the Institute of Supply Chain Managers?
Yes, I am.
You have professional responsibility, just like the advocates and the accountants.
Yes, please.
Why should we not report you or refer you to the professional body for disciplinary action at the very minimum?
Because at the moment, by that time, the time I noticed the issues, I have reported them, that there are some irregularities.
When did you respond to this appendix? Or have you made a response to the Auditor General on the issues raised in the appendix?
Yes, we discussed them.
When?
After they came into my notice. That's about...
No, prior to this meeting.
Yeah.
Have you provided them with justification for the action or to, explanation to the gaps?
There are abnormalities that have been observed and they are factual. So we could not distance ourselves from factuals.
Oh, so it's true, the way it has been cited by the Auditor General?
What I'm saying is some of the documents were not provided then, your Chairman. Now there are some other submissions I submitted, and they are part of what we initially said have not been included in our submission today.
The Auditor General has told us that all the 12 issues have not been addressed and will therefore be making very adverse recommendations on the procurement function. So, Governor, you have a problem in procurement, you have a problem in legal, you have a problem in HR, you have a problem in accounting. Where don't you have a problem? All the critical departments. You have a problem in public works. Projects are incomplete. So you have serious problems. Our time is up. The residual matters, we will look at the written responses and get advice from the Office of the Auditor General. But for the financial year 2020-2021, Governor has directed within 14 days, you must engage the Office of the Auditor General, after which we shall advise on how we are progressing on the basis of those responses. Any closing remarks? Governor, your remarks in closing?
Chair, I appreciate your comments. As I say, we come here to learn and to be sharpened. And we have heard what you say. You've said no one is 100%. And I want to assure you, the issues that you have raised here, I am going to make sure that they are done properly. Otherwise, I'll show people the door.
Time is running.
It's the same thing Governor said on 12th of October, 2023.
She was breathing fire 1 year ago.
And now she is still breathing fire.
And she's still breathing fire.
Okay.
So, Senator Mudama,
Chair.
we'll donate our time to you for closing remarks.
Thank you so much, Chair. I want to thank and appreciate Governor and the team
Order, Governor, order.
for coming, but I want to ask Governor to put your foot down and let everybody work. Because what you are seeing here is people who are not very keen on what they are doing. So can they really work? Because you've employed them, you've put them there so that they can deliver, to help you to deliver for Machakos County. I want to say, go back, sit down with your people and see how you can bring Machakos to where it should be. Machakos can do better than what it is doing now. And I'm sure these people have the potential to do better than what they are doing now. But I don't understand really what is the problem. Like the Solicitor General said that she has already written her report and it is lying in the Finance Office when it should have been dispatched to the Auditor General. So check where there are those gaps and deal with them. Thank you.
Move from a county of video and drama to a county of action. And we are waiting for your responses within 14 days, which will determine the date of our next meeting. The meeting is adjourned. The committee meets on Thursday.